This video is provided courtesy of the Coram Civic Association. Middle Country Road has become one of the deadliest roads in New York State, not only for vehicle traffic, but for pedestrian traffic. As you could imagine, there's not only one factor or variable that goes into this. There's a lot of different variables, and one of the things that we're looking to evaluate here is the lighting situation. As a pedestrian, the street lights are really the only thing that will light the way, but it also makes you visible to other people and to motor vehicles. So if the lights are not working, it can create a very dangerous situation where you might get hit. So we're going to count up all the street lights that are down, and every time a light is down, you'll hear this. You'll also notice in the lower left-hand corner of the screen that we have a counter for how many lights are out. Now, right now, we're driving on Middle Country Road in Middle Island. We're driving towards Coram. Once we cross over into Coram, you'll see the count for Coram go up as well. The arrow color for Middle Island will be yellow, while the arrow color for Coram will be red. Lastly, you should note that this video was taken at night. Therefore, it is dark in the video, so we did have to edit the video to make it a bit brighter for you to be able to see the street lights that are down. Not all of them are going to be completely visible, but for the most part they are. But as an example, here is what the original output of the video was. So you can see it's extremely dark. Something else that's interesting to note is that the street lights are linked to the electrical utility poles. So some of them you're going to notice that there's no light on the utility pole whatsoever. Now our purpose here is to count up the lights that are already pre-existing and see how many of them are not functioning. So now we're showing you the original footage again of the video that we took off our lighting that we added for visual effect. Despite the fact that there is lighting on some poles, you have one pole with a light, one without one. Then one with a light, then the next one without one. So not only are the lights out, but they also are not there. Another factor that you can take into consideration is the fact that this light on the left-hand side right now is very bright. Then you have one that's not so bright and dim. Then these two juxtaposed left and right, one is bright, one is not so bright. Coming up on the right hand side, you're going to see very bright lights from this tool shop, but if it wasn't for them, there would be no lighting because... Now we're going to be coming up to the end of Middle Island towards Sweezy Town Road. We're going to turn the lights off so you can see how dark it gets. Alright, so the lights are off again, and I want you to see in reality how dark this place is. And then we're coming up to Coram now, and you can see this is just, it's extremely dark. Even with the lights that are already there, there should be no lights that are down over here because there's a lot of pedestrian traffic that happens over here. People are walking all the time. So on the corner of Erna Drive, there's two lights that are down, and that's a shame because that's where all the prostitution, the shootings, the killings, drug dealing, all that stuff happens over there. That last light over by 24 Middle Country Road, that was the site where a woman was shot in the head not even 2 weeks ago. So you have an area that has high crime where there's low visibility, there's not enough illumination that's happening, and you have these dark pockets that allow people to get away with murder. Especially in those areas, lighting shouldn't be an issue. So now we're over by Plaza 99, another area that's been riddled with crime. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic. Lights in these areas definitely should not be down. So this is an area over here where a lot of people get hit by cars. You can see the lights are off. It's very dark. Someone was killed right over here 2 weeks ago. The side of the street where there's a sidewalk, there's no lights. And the side of the street where there are lights, there's no sidewalk. Coming up on the right, you can see there is a man who's walking. But very often you see people walking on the left-hand side of the street because that's where all the lights are. So again, lights off. Look at what you're dealing with. Color editing off. Look to your left and see if you can see the man walking. So as a pedestrian, your lighting, your source of lighting is someone's vehicle and their headlights. And that's a shame. And it's not only is it a shame, but it's actually dangerous. So it's a huge liability for every single person that lives in the area. Whether you drive or you walk, it is very dangerous. You could kill somebody or you could be killed. And these are issues that have been ongoing for years and largely have gone unresolved, might I add. What's extremely interesting to me is the preponderance of these red light cameras that seek to fine you in the guise of safety, yet our street lights are not functioning correctly. Now, I know this is a state road, and I know that the red light camera program is a county program, but there's no coordination here as well. Because despite whether it's county, state, or town, the money is all from taxpayers. So I think that the accident data speaks for itself. I think the fatalities speak for themselves. That something has to be done here. And this is one aspect of many different variables that play into this. Our roads are just absolutely unsafe. So part of the reason we're making this video is because over the years, our organizations have complained about these things. This is not anything new. But I think that the responses that we usually met with are things like, oh, well, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do this. Well, what can we do? And I think that if we look at the lighting and fixing the lighting is something that we really can do. And in fact, it's one of the things that should already be done. We shouldn't even have to make a video like this, to be fair. But definitely can fix lighting. And I think it's important to fix the lighting because it's the visibility is a matter of safety. So some of the things we've identified in this video is, number one, that the lights are down. We have a lot of lights that need to be fixed. Number two, the amount of lights that we have is inadequate. We have a lot of utility poles that don't even have lights that probably should get lights. And lastly, the lighting is inconsistent. The amount of brightness, the lumens, vary greatly from light to light, and the color is also inconsistent, which aesthetically looks bad.